Good morning, everyone. The House Judiciary Committee will be coming to order. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Chairman Briggs.
Here.
Representatives Carroll.
A designation.
Donahue. Here. Hanbidge. Here. Hohenstein.
Here.
Howard.
Here.
Kenyatta.
Designation.
Kincaid.
Designation.
Mays.
Here.
Pielli.
Here.
Rab.
Here.
Sanchez.
Here.
Schusterman.
Designation.
Williams.
Designation.
Chairman Kaufman.
Here.
Representatives Bonner.
Here.
Ecker.
Designation.
Ham.
Designation.
Clunk. Ledbetter. Owlett. Rigby.
Here.
Rowe.
Designation.
Schemmel. Shalaba.
Having established the presence of a quorum, the committee is in order and will proceed with today's agenda. As you can tell, it's a pretty ambitious agenda this morning. We're going to go a little bit out of order. First on the agenda will be House Bill 2525 by Representative Rabb. The chair will recognize Representative Rabb for comments followed by Council Vitale for a brief explanation. Representative, you are in order.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, House Bill 2025, or 2525 rather, if this bill were passed, it would amend the consumer protection law and make Pennsylvania a nationwide leader. It would allow the Attorney General, district attorneys, and private citizens enhanced authority to hold companies accountable for deceptive, misleading, or untruthful environmental marketing, AKA greenwashing. Currently, the statute standards and procedures would apply to the amended law. The prospect of injunctions and civil penalties would be strong deterrents against false environmental marketing that distorts the marketplace of ideas, services, and products. We've seen a surge of greenwashing nationwide with many examples that affect Pennsylvania consumers, such as a corporation misstating the size of its ESG-oriented assets, leading to a Securities and Exchange Commission enforcement and numerous penalties. Kohl's and Walmart marketed products as bamboo-derived, when in fact they were made from rayon. That led to FTC enforcement and penalties. Keurig claims about K-Cup pod recycling misled the public and led to other Securities and Exchange violations that were enforced and with penalties that came as well. This is happening on a national level as well. Tyson Food is being sued in Washington, D.C. for allegedly misleading consumers with net zero emissions claims that are not backed up by meaningful plans. Shell continues to tout its progress toward net zero by referencing benchmarks of its own making, likely misleading consumers about the true scope of progress. And last, Crest is under scrutiny for its Recycle Ready slogan on toothpaste tubes. We are merely holding corporations to account. If they're doing great work, let them. But they should not be allowed to deceive consumers who, in this moment, with extreme weather and climate conditions and concerns about climate action, consumers should not be misled. And this is the inspiration for this legislation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Rabb. Council, please provide any additional explanation on House Bill 2525.
Mr. Chairman, specifically the bill adds making an untruthful, deceptive, or misleading environmental marketing claim, net zero claim, or engaging in any other fraudulent or deceptive conduct which creates a likelihood of confusion or misunderstanding to the definition of unfair methods of competition and unfair or deceptive acts or practices. Mr. Chairman, the bill takes effect in 60 days and there are no amendments.
Thank you, Council. Motion to report out House Bill 2525 by Representative Mays, second by Representative Howard. Are there any comments or questions on the bill? Do you have any? Chairman Kaufman.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly understand the desire to protect consumers from lies. But I am concerned with adding a new cause of action, and we add deceptive, misleading, seems terribly subjective in the era of misinformation, disinformation, malinformation. We need to be crystal clear when we make law, and this is far too vague and subjective. With that, I'll be opposing the bill.
Any other comments or questions? I think it's a great bill. Congratulations, Rep, for your work on this. Secretary, please call the roll.
Chairman Briggs.
Yes.
Representatives Carroll,
Designation, yes.
Donahue. Yes. Hanbidge. Yes. Hohenstein. Yes. Howard.
Yes.
Kenyatta.
Designation, yes.
Kincaid. Yes. Mays.
Yes.
Pielli. Yes. Rab. Yes. Sanchez.
Yes.
Schusterman.
Designation, yes.
Williams.
Designation, yes.
Chairman Kaufman.
No.
Representatives Bonner. Ecker.
Designation, no.
Ham.
Designation, no.
Clunk. Ledbetter. Owlett. Rigby. Rowe.
Designation, no.
Schemmel. Shalaba. House Bill 2525 passes.
House Bill 2525 passes and will be reported to the Speaker as committed. Next on the agenda is House Bill 977 by Representative Kuzma. I will recognize Representative Kuzma for comments on his bill, followed by Council Vitale for a brief explanation. Representative Kuzma, you're in order.
Good morning, everybody. Members of the Judiciary Committee, thank you for allowing me to come and speak to you today. I know that there's nobody else that you rather see at 10 a.m. than me, so I appreciate you spending your morning with me. I am here advocating on my bill, which is bipartisan in nature. It is House Bill 977, banning gas station heroin in the state of Pennsylvania. This issue was brought to me by a family in my district who had a relative that was addicted to a sketchy dietary supplement available online at vape shops, gas stations, and the like. This substance, tianeptine, is known on the street as gas station heroin because it is almost identical in nature. It is only illegal because it is chemically slightly different. All of the effects are the same. All of the negative health implications are identical. People are overdosing on it. People are going into comas. People are dying. And I have people in Allegheny County and Washington County that are overdosing from this stuff. There is a bipartisan bill in the U.S. House pending to abolish it nationwide. There are a number of states, including Michigan and our neighbor Ohio, that have totally banned it. And after introducing this bill, it received nationwide attention on national TV because it is a really good bipartisan issue. I've strived to become a bipartisan member of this body. I think that the majority of issues facing this Commonwealth can be solved with common sense, bipartisan solutions, and I think that this bill is that. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Council, please provide any additional explanation of House Bill 977.
Mr. Chairman, the bill takes effect in 60 days, and there's one amendment.
You're in order on Amendment A05008, offered by Chairman Kaufman.
Mr. Chairman, Amendment 05008 accomplishes the same thing as the bill, but it adds it to a subsection 41 of Section 13 of the Drug Act. The amendment is necessary because gas station heroin is not currently a controlled substance.
Thank you, Council. Would you like to make any additional comments on the amendment? I think he covered it, but.
Yeah.
We'll need a motion to adopt A05008 by Representative Kaufman, seconded by Representative Rigby. Are there any comments on the amendment? Are there any negative votes on the amendment? Seeing none, the amendment is approved and passed unanimously. So I will need a motion. Amendment is adopted. Fast forwarding. Need a motion to report out House Bill 977 as amended by Representative Kaufman, seconded by Representative Rigby. Are there any comments on the bill as amended? Representative Kincaid, you're in order.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are once again participating in the definition of insanity, which is to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. The criminalization of a substance does not deter people from taking it. The criminalization of a substance does not address someone's underlying substance use disorder. The criminalization of a substance puts somebody into the criminal justice system, which we know has absolutely no ability to address substance use disorder. While I appreciate that we need to address this, criminalizing people for using it is not how we solve it. It's not how we should have attempted to solve issues with xylazine. It's not how we should solve this. We continue on and on and on to do the same thing, and we know that it doesn't work. So I will be a no, and I will hope that we can come up with an actual solution that addresses substance use disorder in a way that's actually effective. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative. Representative, you can grab this seat right here. This is a room that we're not usually in. Thanks for joining us. Are there any other comments or questions on the bill? Representative Rabb.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree wholeheartedly with my colleague from Allegheny County. This issue is an important one, and there are other substances that need to be regulated versus criminalizing people who may or may not know the dangers of these products that should not be sold, whether it's in gas stations or anywhere else. We have the capacity in our Commonwealth to regulate them. There's Delta 8. There are all kinds of things, synthetically grown products that produce a high similar to those folks who ingest THC. And they're available to children. They can do whatever they want. So to the extent that you are interested in talking about how we regulate these things in Pennsylvania to keep them out of the hands of the public and people are informed, I'm very much interested in working with you, but finding more ways to criminalize activity, particularly folks who suffer from substance use disorder, is not something I can support. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you want to do closing comments, or do you want to respond? Okay, real quick.
All right, members, with the intention of this bill, I do not intend to place any users in prison, okay? And I don't want to be out of line in asking a question to Representative Kincaid and Representative Rabb. But if we did an amendment on the floor forbidding the sale and manufacture in the Commonwealth, and we carved out users, would that be acceptable?
Okay, you can address that. I'm very casual this morning, so.
Thank you. I mean, I think that that's a start, but again, I think the regulation should be, about manufacture and sale. It shouldn't be about the folks who end up using it, but that's what we did in putting this into the Drug Control Act with that amendment. So I don't know how you would do that, because this was what we ran into with xylazine as well, as we tried to create a scenario where someone for mere possession was not facing 5 years and $15,000 for mere possession, but it was not acceptable to be able to get it across the finish line, and so that was shut down. If you can figure out a way to do that, certainly open to it, but for now I will be a no.
Any other comments or questions? Chairman Coffin, do you have any closing comments before we go to a vote?
Yeah, the amendment, I may be dense or not reading. The amendment states the manufacture, delivery, or possession with the intent to manufacture or deliver the substance, and it's not targeted toward users currently. So again, maybe I'm just confused, but that's what the amendment says.
Well, I think we'll have some time to digest this a little bit more with the amendment. I understand there's concerns with the war on drugs, as we've been taking this approach for a long time, and it has not been working. I do understand there's a lot of opposition to this, but I will be voting yes to move the bill out of committee. With that, Secretary, please call the roll.
Chairman Briggs.
Yes.
Representatives Carroll.
I think you're a no, right? Is that what you? That's what the designation said.
No, I'll be a yes.
Okay, yes.
Donahue. Yes. Hanbidge. Yes. Hohenstein. No. Howard.
Yes.
Kenyatta.
Designation, no.
Kincaid. No. Mays.
No.
Pielli.
Yes.
Rab.
No.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Schusterman.
Designation, yes.
Williams.
Designation, yes.
Chairman Kaufman.
Yes.
Representatives Bonner. Ecker.
Designation, yes.
Ham.
Designation, yes.
Clunk. Ledbetter. Owlett. Rigby. Rowe.
Designation, yes.
Schemmel. Shalaba. House Bill 977 passes.
Thank you, Secretary. House Bill 977 passes and will be reported to the floor as amended. I do encourage conversations to see if we can get some language. Thank you. Next on the agenda is Senate Bill 169 by Senator Baker. Council, please. Chair Baker is not present, right? Online? No. Council, please provide an explanation on Senate Bill 169.
Mr. Chairman, Senate Bill 169 is consistent with Recommendation 16 of the Juvenile Justice Task Force report of June 2021. The task force determined that youth should not be kept in out-of-home placement longer than the timeframe supported by research. The bill amends the Juvenile Act to require a dispositional review hearing to be held at least once every 3 months when a child is committed to an institution. The review is to ensure the terms and conditions of the disposition order are being met. The bill passed the Senate 50-0 on September 17, 2024. Mr. Chairman, the bill takes effect in 180 days and there are no amendments.
Thank you, Council. I'll need a motion to report out Senate Bill 169 by Kaufman, seconded by Clunk. Are there any comments on the bill? Yeah. You guys both told me. Are there any negative votes on Senate Bill 169? Seeing none, if Secretary could please record that as unanimous, and will be reported to the floor. Next on the agenda is Senate Bill 170 by Senator Baker. Council, please provide an explanation on Senate Bill 170.
Mr. Chairman, Senate Bill 170 is consistent with Recommendation 23 of the Juvenile Justice Task Force report of June 2021. The bill requires the Chief Juvenile Probation Officer of the county to promptly notify the court that records of a juvenile delinquency case are eligible for expungement. This bill will standardize statewide expungement processes for certain juvenile records, as well as provides for expungement of consent decree records and delinquent child records. The bill passed the Senate 47-2 on September 17th. Mr. Chairman, the bill takes effect in 180 days and there are no amendments.
Thank you, Council. Motion to report out Senate Bill 170 by Kincaid, seconded by Hohenstein. Are there any comments on the bill? Representative Bonner on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is my understanding that we currently have expungement powers in the Juvenile Act for many crimes. And this particular bill will broaden those crimes that are not eligible for expungement to be included. So that, for example, it will expand the expungement within 5 years, assuming that all the conditions are met. Now for voluntary manslaughter, for rape, for robbery, for home burglary, for arson. So this bill greatly expands the expungement powers for juveniles, assuming there are no intervening arrests or adjudications within that 5-year period. And I believe that this is moving too quickly, and it's expunging records that should be available for review and consideration. So if we have a 17 or 18-year-old committing these type crimes, that record should not be expunged in such a quick time frame. So for that reason, I'll be opposed to the bill.
Any additional comments or questions? Just closing comments, Chairman Kaufman. Yep. So this was part of, and I was going to say for the first bill, this is part of a Juvenile Justice Task Force report that was worked on for probably 18 months or so. One of the recommendations, I think it's one of the milder recommendations. We did, the committee, pass a very robust bill regarding juvenile justice reform last September. And unfortunately, that hasn't progressed. But I am supporting this. We have a lot more work to do. It was passed, this bill was passed in the Senate last term, I think 49-1, pretty overwhelming. It was passed again this term. So I'm not sure it's moving too quickly, but I respect your opposition to it. And Secretary, please, I encourage all the members to vote in favor. Secretary, please call the roll.
Chairman Briggs.
Yes.
Representatives Carroll,
Yes.
Donahue. Yes. Hanbidge. Yes. Hohenstein. Yes. Howard. Yes. Kenyatta.
Designation, yes.
Kincaid. Yes. Mays.
Yes.
Pielli. Yes. Rab. Yes. Sanchez. Yes. Schusterman.
Designation, yes.
Williams.
Designation, yes.
Chairman Kaufman.
Yes.
Representatives Bonner. Ecker.
Designation, yes.
Ham.
Designation, yes.
Clunk. Ledbetter. Owlett. Rigby. Rowe.
Designation, yes.
Schemmel. Shalaba. Senate Bill 170 passes.
Thank you, Secretary. Senate Bill 170 passes and will be reported to the floor as committed. Next on the agenda is Senate Bill 267 by Senator Brooks. The chair will recognize Counsel Vitale for an explanation of Senate Bill 267.
Mr. Chairman, Senate Bill 267 adds urgent care centers to locations where a parent may turn over a newborn without fear of criminal liability under the Safe Harbor Law, which is Section 4306 of Title 18. The bill requires the person to give the child to a healthcare provider at the urgent care center, and the healthcare professional is authorized to take the child into protective custody. An urgent care center may provide an incubator for the care of the newborn turned over to the facility. If the urgent care center has an incubator, they shall follow the same guidelines as other safe harbor places, such as police stations and hospitals. The bill passed the Senate 50-0 on April 24, 2023. Mr. Chairman, the bill takes effect in 60 days, and there are no amendments.
Thank you, Counsel. We'll need a motion to report out Senate Bill 267 by Representative Hanbidge, seconded by Representative Sanchez. Are there any comments on the bill? Well, let me just say, I do know there was a question raised regarding, and it's addressed, there is some language being worked on with DHS to do a very technical amendment that will be filed at the appropriate time. Are there any negative votes on the bill? Seeing none, Secretary, please record it. Senate Bill 267 passes and will be reported as committed. Next on the agenda is Senate Bill 1118 by Senator Stefano. I'm not sure if I would recognize Senator Stefano. I don't think he's here. The chair will recognize counsel to provide an explanation of Senate Bill 1118.
Mr. Chairman, Senate Bill 1118 provides for community service alternatives to satisfy fines and fees related to driver's license suspensions for non-moving violations. The bill specifically authorizes MDJs to determine that if a person is financially unable to pay the costs and fines associated with some non-moving traffic offenses, community service may be ordered as an alternative to payment, which would allow the return of the driver's license. A suspended driver must submit an application to PennDOT, which includes a restoration fee, proof of financial responsibility, and an attestation that the driver does not own a motor vehicle if applicable. Upon acceptance into the new adjudication alternative program, a person's driving privilege would be restored by PennDOT. The bill passed the Senate 50-0 on July 11, 2024. Mr. Chairman, the bill takes effect in 26 months, and there are no amendments.
Thank you, Council. We'll need a motion to report out Senate Bill 1118 by Representative Kaufman, Chairman Kaufman, seconded by Representative Ledbetter. Are there any comments on the bill? Representative Hohenstein.
Chair, I just have a quick inquiry. This came through transportation in the Senate. Why are we handling it in Judiciary here in the House?
I think that would be a question to ask the Speaker.
Okay. I will be a yes on this. I recognize the unanimity of the concept. I just do want to express my concern about creating these alternative programs for people who can't actually pay the fines that are imposed within a criminal justice system, and the idea that that then becomes a reason to provide service or what kind of feels like indentured servitude to me. I just want to raise that as an issue. I will be voting yes on the bill, but I do have some of those concerns.
Any additional comments or questions on the bill? Representative Rigby, you're in order.
I'll do the best I can here.
I think we did that on purpose.
So you didn't want me to speak. That's all right. I'll be a yes on the bill. I do have some concerns about there's no mention of habitual offenders, and how do we address that? So I think the bill needs a little bit of work, but I'll be a yes to see that we move it out of committee, and then I'll address those issues.
Thank you, Representative. Chair Kaufman, you're in order.
I have heard of some concern from law enforcement that there are provisions in this bill that would leave some discretion up to them, which they don't particularly care to have, and would prefer that discretion to be to others. And so I thought there might have been an amendment in the works on this, and it may still be, and I'm just not involved in that, but I'm hoping that issue can be addressed for our friends in blue who are forced with doing the good work every day out in the field.
Any other comments or questions? So I think I can answer 3 of the comments. There is an amendment being worked on with the administration, with state police, AOPC, ACLU, and the Senate. I think we're very close to having that language prepared. So in our caucus, Representative Krajewski's been very engaged in those conversations. So for timing purposes, it actually moves the bill quicker if we move it out of committee today and address that amendment on a floor conversation to move the ball forward. So I think we are pretty close to it, but after the meeting, we can all huddle up and see where we are on the language. So are there any negative votes on Senate Bill 1118? Seeing none, thank you, members. Secretary, please record it as unanimous, and we will report it to the floor. Is this the last? No, we have 2 more. Next on the agenda is Senate Bill 1213 by Senator Pennycook. I don't see the senator. I was trying to get in touch with her this morning. But Council, please provide an explanation of Senate Bill 1213.
Mr. Chairman, Senate Bill 1213 amends Title 18, Section 3131, unlawful dissemination of intimate images, Section 6312, sexual abuse of children, Section 6321, transmission of sexually explicit images by minor, to include images that were created by using artificial intelligence or photo editing software. The bill provides a definition of artificial intelligence, artificially generated sexual depiction, generative artificial intelligence, photo editing software, artificially generated child sexual abuse material, child sexual abuse material, and artificially generated depictions. The bill passed the Senate 50-0 on June 10th, 2024. The bill takes effect in 60 days, and there's one amendment.
Okay, so which amendment?
95.
Okay, I'm in possession of two, so we are going to be considering Amendment A05795. Council, you're in order on Amendment A05795.
Mr. Chairman, Amendment 05795 deletes the changes included in the bill related to AI in Section 3131, the unlawful dissemination of intimate images.
I'll need a motion to adopt A05795 by Representative Clunk. The motion made by Representative Ledbetter, seconded by Representative, this is going to be Shalaba. Shalaba? I got it? Yeah. Wow. I couldn't even see it. I was trying to, I knew your name, I just wasn't sure the pronunciation. Are there any comments or questions on Amendment A05795? Representative Clunk.
Thank you, Chairman Briggs, and thank you for bringing this bill forward. I want to make it very clear that I am in support of this bill and the concepts behind it. Some of the concerns that I do have are related to some of the technical language that is currently in the bill. This committee has not had any hearings related to AI related to pornographic images. So this is the first time that we are seeing this language before us today. This topic is a very complex topic, very complex. Many of us in this room probably can't even wrap our heads around it right now as we are reading the language before us on this page, if we're truly honest with ourselves. I wish we would have had a hearing on this, because I think we could have gotten some of the language right. My one fear with this is that we will pass this bill potentially, if without an amendment, that could set up our law enforcement with not the correct tools to be able to fully do what I think we as society want to do. We want to protect people from AI-generated porn that is used to hurt people and offend people and shock the conscience of our communities and ultimately hurt our children. I don't believe that the language is fully baked on the, what I consider the adult section of this bill. I believe that we should be moving forward wholeheartedly with the child abuse AI portion of this bill. I sat as a member of the Child Porn Task Force. I sat through those meetings. I can't unhear, I can't unsee what I heard and saw. As a mother of two little girls, I believe we should be doing that portion of this bill for them, for every single child in this Commonwealth and this nation that could be impacted by this bill. But I also, again, have concerns that the particular language in this bill is trying to be shoehorned in to this revenge porn statute, where I just think that it leaves things to be open-ended, because the bill is written, provides broadly that a person is guilty of the offense with the intent to harass, annoy, or alarm any other individual if the person disseminates an artificially generated sexual depiction of an individual. My concern is that this is very open-ended. I think many of us could go through hypos in our head about how this particular language on the paper today might just not work in practice. And that's not what we want for our communities, for our people. We want to get this right. Our people deserve to get, we all deserve, every single one of us here deserves to get this right. And I've been here long enough to know that in 6 months, we're probably going to have different interest groups coming back to us. We're going to have the DAs. We're probably going to have police coming back and saying, hey, can you tweak this for us? So let's try to get this right. Let's take a pause. Let's focus on the children aspect of this, which I think we can all rally around. Hit a pause, maybe talk a little bit more about getting some language right on the adult section of this, and then move forward with it. Because I think we owe it to everyone in this Commonwealth to get this right. This is a heady issue. And that's why I'm putting forward this amendment. I in no way, want to stall this process, because I do believe at the end of the day, we need to protect our kids. So that's why my amendment strips this back to include just the child portion of this. So I would ask for your support. I'm willing to sit down and talk through some of the challenges that we have seen, that I've talked with, retired law enforcement about, to try and get this right. But I think we owe it to the Commonwealth to get it right. And I believe my amendment helps move that process forward, and gives us some time to get it right. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. I do appreciate the maker's intent. I feel like I've heard that someplace before, to approve the bill, but we've communicated with the prime sponsor and the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and they've informed us that this is not an agreed-to amendment, and I will be asking all the members to vote no on the amendment. But I do encourage you to engage in conversations with the prime sponsor, to see if there is language that, if this fails and on the floor, see if there's a way you could accomplish that tweak in collaboration with them. Any other comments or questions on the amendment? Seeing none, Secretary, please call the roll.
Chairman Briggs.
No.
Representatives Carroll.
No.
Donahue. No. Hanbidge. Hohenstein. No. Howard. No. Kenyatta.
Designation no.
Kincaid. No. Mays.
No.
Pielli. No. Rab. No. Sanchez. No. Schusterman.
Designation no.
Williams.
Designation no.
Chairman Kaufman.
Yes.
Representatives Bonner. Ecker.
Designation yes.
Ham.
Designation yes.
Clunk. Yes. Ledbetter. Yes. Allett. Yes. Rigby. Yes. Rowe.
Designation yes.
Schemmel. Yes. Shalaba. The amendment fails.
Thank you, Secretary. The amendment fails. I was also in possession of Amendment A05796. It's my understanding that that's being withdrawn. Thank you. Are there any, so we will need a motion to adopt the bill as amended?
As committed.
As committed, right. Didn't get amended. Motion report Senate Bill 1213 as committed by Representative Donahue, seconded by Representative Rigby. Are there any comments on the bill? Chairman Kaufman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I shared the concerns of the maker of the amendment, Representative Clunk. I have very serious reservations about moving forward with the bill as is, although at this time I'm going to defer to our former colleague, Senator Pennyquick, and vote to move this out of committee. But I seriously hope that this is fine-tuned before it is enacted in law, or I do believe we will be revisiting it very quickly. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions on Senate Bill 1213? Representative Clunk, you're in order.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I too echo my chairman's comments. We need to move something on this, and I will be voting for this, especially for the children. We need this protection for our children, but I do believe it needs fixed for the other part. And I hope that there are members sitting here today who will join with me, and we can work together with my friend and great Senator, Senator Pennycook, in getting this right. I think we owe it to every single person in this Commonwealth moving forward, especially our kids, to get this right. But I will be voting yes, with some reservation. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Any other comments or questions on Senate Bill 1213? This is a complicated issue. We had a number of bills regarding artificial intelligence, some sponsored by colleagues of the committee, members of the committee. I do think the Senate did a good job to address some of the concerns we had, but I'm sure Senator Pennycook would be willing to engage in additional conversations. We spoke last week about this bill, so I will be supporting it. And we'll be happy to participate in those conversations as well. But I think it's a good bill. I think our prosecutors, law enforcement definitely need this, and I think it'll just continue. We probably will need to tweak it because it's a couple of years ago I didn't even know what artificial intelligence was. So it's we were playing some catch up. Are there any negative votes on Senate Bill 1213? Seeing none, it passes committee unanimously, and it will be reported to the floor as committed. The last bill on the agenda, if I knew we were going to be this efficient, I would have added some more bills on the agenda. But the last bill on today's agenda is Senate Bill 1228 by Senator Gebhard. Is he here? I do not see Senator Gebhard in the room. Council, please provide an explanation of Senate Bill 1228.
Mr. Chairman, Senate Bill 1228 authorizes the Municipal Police Officers Education and Training Commission, MOPEC, to assign Act 120 certification numbers to eligible Fort Indiantown Gap police officers. This would provide parity with other municipal police departments, school police departments, and the Capitol Police. Currently, Fort Indiantown Gap police officers complete all the same certification requirements, but are not assigned a number by MOPEC because they are not clearly defined in Title 53. This bill rectifies that issue. The bill takes effect in 60 days, and there are no amendments.
Thank you, Council. I'll need a motion to report Senate Bill 1228 by Representative Kaufman, seconded by Representative Rigby. Are there any comments or questions on the bill? Seeing no comments or questions, are there any negative votes on the bill? Seeing none, if the Secretary could please record that as unanimously supported, it will be reported to the floor as passes. This may be our final meeting. We don't know. We will we'll look to see if there's any activity being sent to us next week. Well, I bet it won't be our final meeting. We might just convene just for the heck of it. But the meeting stands adjourned.